All right, guys, so we're going to be doing our worm sorting, and the lawnmower just stopped so I can film a little bit. I have 3 bins that I was using as breeder bins to kind of do a little experiment. I'm gonna go through these, take out as many cocoons as I can find, put those in like a grout bin, and I'm going to take 100 worms and put 100 worms in a new breeder bin and mix up some new compost and cardboard and start it up for another 20 days or so. So I'll show you guys what I'm sorting through and show you guys my progress as we go. All right, so this is what I'm gonna be working with. I have a little flower pot here for cocoons. I have a pair of tweezers to grab them with. This will be where I put the worms. I have 1 worm in there so far. This was the bin I dumped out. I have a bin here, and I have a bin here, and this one that has cardboard on the top, I did not touch it at all. So in the 21 days, I did not mix it up, did not fluff it up, add anything extra to it. And these other 2 here, I did. So we'll see if there's any difference. They didn't have the same amount of worms, so there'll probably be some kind of difference. So let me get to sorting, and then I'll give you guys an update. All right, so what I'm gonna try to do is divide these into roughly 4 piles. That seemed to work pretty well for me yesterday when I was kind of messing with this stuff. And I'll just take the top layer off of each as we go. And that should give me, or give the worms enough time to move down. And I'm kind of gonna just break this up a little bit, so that it's a little easier to grab the material. So you can see a bunch of worms. This one doesn't look like it had as much cardboard as the last one, so that's going to be nice just because it's not as clumpy. So we'll give them a little bit of time to work down, and then I'll start pulling the material off. All right, so a little bit of change of plans. I'm not gonna sort all these cocoons. It's gonna take me forever. Just in the few I did here, I don't know if you guys can see them. I probably have a couple dozen, and I barely made it through this pile here. So this pile was about the size of that pile, and I'm just not gonna go through all of it to get every single one. I'll go ahead and in the empty tub over here, I'll just put all the different castings, and then I'll just sort the worms out the best I can. But I'm not going to grab every cocoon, but there is going to be a bunch. All right, so I'm done sorting the first bucket. This is about 80 worms, and I kind of picked the bigger ones that I could find as I was picking through it. So this will be 80. And then in here, you're not going to be able to see any worms, but that's the rest of them. So there's probably 400, I guess. It's a bunch of them, so I'll keep picking through. I'll add 20 more to the breeders that I pick out. I'll pick the biggest, fattest ones I can find, and then we will make the big breeder grow out bucket. All right, guys, so I realized that I don't need to separate all these bins, since all of this material is going into the grow out bin with all these worms that I've picked out of the first one. I already have my 100 or so breeder worms, the ones I hand picked out that looked like bigger ones for what I have. I don't need to go through all these again. So I think what I'm gonna do is mix up my grow out bin, and what I'm gonna do is I'm going to take some of this compost and manure, and the hydrated lime is for the pH balance. And then the bag below that is rabbit feed, which I'm assuming is a little bit better than chicken feed for protein poisoning. So what I'm gonna do is, I think I'm just gonna throw all these into the bigger bucket. All right, so this is the bigger bucket that I'm gonna be using for my grow out bin. And then I'm gonna put all of this into this bucket. This has all my cocoons and a lot of the worms. So not too many in this pile, but it's a nice one. These will be my grow out fishing stock. Yeah, not too many in this pile either. That's a nice one. So all the bigger ones that really stand out, I'm just gonna throw in for my breeder bin. But the majority of these will be just going in this grow out bin. So there's a good bunch of them. So I'll probably end up with 120 to 130 worms in my breeder bin. Oh, there's the ball. There's some nice ones in here. All right, so I definitely should have sorted them a little bit more. There's way too many castings in this breeder grow out mixed bag that I'm trying to do. I'm not gonna be able to put too much fresh material in there just yet, but I will refresh it. I'm going to have to mix my compost and manure in the little ice chest I have, just because I didn't think about it, and I'm not great at planning this project. So we're gonna mix it up in the little ice chest. I'll make my breeder bin, that little plastic container, shoebox style, with 120 to 130 worms, I think it ended up being. I didn't count after 100, just anytime I saw a real nice one, I threw it in there. So there's probably about 120 to 130. So let's get to mixing some cardboard and compost, and then we will get a little rabbit feed, some lime, and set it and forget it. All right, so we have the manure. I don't want to use too much. All right, so I'm going to put some shredded cardboard into our compost and cow manure. I didn't want to use too much manure just because I don't have that much room in all my bins. So we'll give it a mix. All right, so let me explain what I have going on. My phone was overheating, so I couldn't film the whole process. This is the 120 worms we picked out from our first bin. And this is 100% new bedding, which is the compost and cow manure. And then shredded cardboard is mixed in there to give it a little volume. I put 1/3 of a cup of aggregated lime to balance the pH and keep us from having any, hopefully any protein poisoning, string of pearls, whatever you want to call it. And in this little Tupperware, I put some new bedding, half new bedding, and then I took half of our mix we had from our breeder bin, and I put that in there. Also, I mixed some pelleted rabbit feed in the new bedding, so they should have a little bit to eat throughout the whole bin. And I'm going to take the rest of our mix here, and I'll just put it on the top here, and that should give a little bit of the ag lime, and we're just gonna let it ride and see how it goes. All these are red wigglers from Mimi's, just like my last video. So that's it. We will give an update in another 3 weeks, and hopefully it works out better and I can get rid of the protein poisoning I've been having an issue with. That video is probably all over the place. It's just my first attempt at doing this. I'm just trying to get some fat worms for fishing and maybe sell them for compost when I move, start my new garden with some compost and seed starts. So it should be good. This is just giving me something to do this summer during the week while I'm not fishing or messing in the yard. So thanks for watching, and hopefully you guys enjoyed it. If you have any tips or tricks or suggestions, let me know, and I'll incorporate those into my process. Thanks.